I guess for me, growing up without my father had a very profound impact on my life. His absence led me on this journey to manhood on my own. And during the course of it, I had to overcome a lot of obstacles that got in my way. A lot of things I did, I'm not proud of. When I was a senior in high school, I ended up going to the penitentiary, and that was a very defining moment in my life. I had to, it made me or it was gonna break me. But upon my release, I just did my best to be a better man, a better example for when I started having children. Today, I'm a proud father of 7 kids, and everything I do is for my children. I would never be a coward and run from my responsibilities. I just think it's imperative, for my children's success, that I lead them and I be an example for them. Through all my trials and tribulations, I never gave up.
4.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with psoriasis. It's a inflammatory autoimmune disorder. I get red, scaly patches everywhere, and at the time I was working in cosmetics, so the foundation of my job was my skin. As it progressed, the symptoms became worse, and it was hard to get out of bed. There was a lot of joint pain, and my self-esteem just plummeted. I felt gross. I thought, who is gonna love me when I've got skin falling off of me all the time? And we went through a lot of drug trials to find something to reduce the pain and the inflammation, and finally found one that was working, which helped my mind become a little bit more clear, and I decided I'm not gonna let this outward disease influence my life or tell me how to live my life. So I took control of my life. I changed how I was eating, I changed the products that I was using, and I decided that I was gonna believe that I was beautiful until I really felt it. Now when people ask me about it, I'm proud to tell them my story, to show that it's okay to be different and to look different and to be confident. I didn't want to go on, and I'm so glad that I did. I got engaged a month ago to my best friend, and he doesn't see anything wrong. He just sees me, and I never gave up.
Okay, I was born in the projects and I was raised by a single mother. At the age of 13, my mom was murdered in a domestic violence dispute with her husband. At 17 years old, I was homeless and barely passing high school. At that time, I just didn't know what I was gonna do, how I was gonna make it, what my future looked like. But now that I'm standing in my future, I'm a college graduate, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I have a successful career. I made it. I never gave up.
I think the best thing about me that makes me a great person is that a lot of adversities that I've struggled with regarding my height. I'm a 4'8", black man, short stature. A lot of things that I've done has intrigued people's interest. It has made them wonder, how did he do that? How did he get here? He ain't supposed to be here, but I'm here, and I'm not stopping. I'm an actor. I'm not a typecasted actor. I'm actually an actor that does a lot of proficient roles, and I never gave up.
I have vitiligo. I've had vitiligo since I was a kid. It showed up on spring break with my family. I was 13 years old and I was on the beach in the sun having fun with my family, and I looked down at my hands and my knees and I had white patches, and showed my mom, and my mom said, oh, maybe it's just sunscreen that sat there for too long. Why don't you go take a bath? So I took a bath and scrubbed every bit of my body and it wasn't coming off. So my mom, in a panic, loaded me up in the car in Florida, and we went to the urgent care center that was closest to us, and the doctor there said that it was a fungus that was taking over my body and that I was going to die eventually. So terrified, we left Florida early and came back here and went to a dermatologist here, and she told us to calm down, that it's just vitiligo, and that we were going to be fine. So I think that having it when I got in middle school was a little tough, because middle schoolers, as everyone knows, can be a little brutal, but it's taught me, I guess, to look inward for beauty instead of outward. So you get to meet a lot of new people and answer a lot of really awkward questions initially. But then I met my husband and we had our daughter, and now my goal is to teach her about inner beauty, and that she does have a pretty smile and beautiful blue eyes, but she's got a great heart, and that's what makes her beautiful. So I never gave up.
When I was 4 months, I rolled over on a curling iron that created the scar that I have now on my face. I had over 10 corrective surgeries throughout my life to correct the scar. And when I was 5, I had my last surgery to correct it. And from that, I was bullied, teased in middle school, elementary. When I got into high school, I finally came into my own with help of family and prayers, and realized I never gave up.
I was born with a rare disease called Wiley syndrome. Wiley syndrome causes liver damage at birth, short stature, and many other things. I've had a liver and a kidney transplant, 3 other major surgeries, countless hospital stays, doctor visits, and procedures done. I used to be embarrassed about who I was. I've always been made fun of because I'm short and I look younger than I really am, but I'm not so embarrassed anymore. I wasn't supposed to live past 3 years old, but by God's grace and the people who donated their loved ones' organs, I'm here today at the age of 28. There were times where I wanted to give up and I wanted to quit, but I kept on fighting. I never gave up.
When I was 19 years old, I put a gun to my head and I pulled the trigger. I'm one of few people who can say I pulled the trigger, and I'm still here to tell the story about it. I've been suffering from depression, anxiety, and ADHD since I was 11 years old. And I've gone through some of the hardest situations in my life that a lot of people can't relate to. And I realized at a young age that I was destined for greatness. But in order to be great, you have to be able to go through things. So I think one of the things that make me unique in life is that I wasn't meant to have an easy life. I was meant to struggle. I was meant to go through things. And it's part of the reason that my resilience is what makes me great. My resilience and being able to bounce back. So I've had 2 suicide attempts in my life, at 13 years old and at 19 years old. And the difference between being suicidal and pulling the trigger is not knowing whether or not it's possible to come back from that. And for me, I pulled the trigger. Just so happens that the gun jammed. And that's one of the turning points in my life, is regardless of everything that I've gone through and everything that I still struggle with, I still struggle from mental illnesses. And from the outside looking in, you see normal. You see this is, a normal person, a happy person, but there's inner demons that a lot of people are struggling with. And I'm a walking, talking testimony that, it's never too late. You should never give up. I never gave up.
Growing up as a young man in the mean streets of Los Angeles, you had to choose a side. Growing up in the late '90s, it was tough. It was tough. They put you in many situations, and I myself have been in numerous situations where I've almost lost my life. I just want to talk about how blessed I am to be here and choosing the high road. I chose sports as my outlet, did some great things in my career, and now I'm at a crossroad in my life where I want to do bigger and better things, and I have since turned to fitness. I love what I do. I love inspiring people, and man, it's just beautiful where I am now in my life. To wake up every day and see another day. We weren't promised to see 24. And here I am, 33 years old, just had my 33rd birthday, but I never gave up.
About my experience with cancer multiple times. On July 31st, 2010, I gave birth to my daughter and then found out that I also had ovarian cancer that day. Was told I needed to go see the oncology, so I went to oncology, had several surgeries. After we finished a couple of rounds of surgery, I was told I needed chemo and radiation. At that point, I started to lose my hair, and then they were like, we need to do a mammogram. Did a mammogram and found out I also had breast cancer. Had to have full bilateral mastectomy, and 28 reconstructive surgeries later, I am here, but I never gave up.
Hello everyone, I'm Tiffanie Wiley. I'm the founder of the I Am Great movement. As you see in the video today, we had several people with their testimonies. The I Am Great is no matter what life challenges are thrown your way, you are still destined to be great. All of these people are great and they never gave up. At the age of 7, I was diagnosed with vitiligo. My life changed forever. I hated who I was. I didn't even like myself. Life got tough. Even at the age of 10, I had to have open heart surgery. Life got even more tough. But I kept on pushing and I kept on pushing. And so I come here today to tell you to keep on pushing and never give up. Because I never gave up. I am great.
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 I am great.